Welcome back to another episode of the KarterKast. I'm your host, Karter Baughan. Sunday night recap, NFL. We're live. Connor, Dylan are with me. NFL recap. We're not going to do any college football. We'll talk college football this week on, you'll be listening to it Wednesday morning. So subscribe to the YouTube. Check that out. But we're going to talk NFL football today, Sunday night recap. We're brought to you by SeatGeek. Download the SeatGeek app. Use code KarterKast. $20 off your first purchase. $50 minimum purchase required. Terms and conditions apply. Use code KarterKast at SeatGeek.com. Today, let's get into it. Let's start off. We're recording right now in the middle of Sunday Night Football. Bears are down 6 to the Texans in the third quarter. I want to talk Bengals-Chiefs. Chiefs somehow, some way, pull it out again. Burrow looks solid in Arrowhead. They win 26-25, barely on a last-second field goal. We all knew. Even you texted the group chat. You text every sports group chat you have, every football group chat. You got a text saying, oh, they're giving the ball to Mahomes with 90 seconds left. We know what's happening here. No matter what, somehow, some way, we knew it was going to happen. The Chiefs take care of business at home against the Bengals. Dylan, I'll start with you. Thoughts on that game?
Yeah, it is a lot of what we expected. I think we talked about it extensively on this show, how there's one team that has given the Chiefs a problem, and it's the Bengals. And the Bengals were in it until the very end. You have that Joe Burrow scoop and score, and you lost hope a little bit. Jamar Chase, I know he's he watches the show. I know he's an avid watcher.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing, man? This is one, and whether it's college, it's your team, it's not your team. I bet on the Bengals to win. So sure, you can say maybe I'm a little. You can't just jaw off to the. Do you think you're going to change the referee's mind? You think you're going to make him just magically throw that flag out of his pocket by telling him that you got hip drop tackled?
Dylan, tell him act like you've been there before.
Act like you've been there before. This is my get off my lawn moment, because as a baseball player, this is all you hear. You can't argue balls and strikes. You cannot argue with the referees. In my mind, they were driving down the field. They had momentum, right? And this Jamar Chase pass, it wasn't, he gained yards. They were driving down the field, and he absolutely stalls it. One of the most selfish things that I have ever seen on a football field. I was astonished. And in the middle of contract extensions, I texted the group chat. I said, if I don't want him on my team, you have to have a better thought process than that to just throw it away. I've ranted too long about Jamar Chase, but it was you can't do that.
You even saw Burrow like after the play. He was like pulling him back, like forcefully like shoving him back. And Burrow's usually pretty even keel. Like he's not one of those guys that's going to be crazy emotional. And even he was like, know your situation, know your time and score. He was like yanking him back like aggressively.
That sends them back 15 yards. They have 15 more yards to cover. They don't end up converting. They have to punt it away, and they give Patrick Mahomes the opportunity to win the game, like he's done time and time again. That's Jamar Chase's fault. You're not going to change the referee's mind. You cannot go down that path. Stupid football from Jamar Chase.
Dylan, I just love that. Everybody listening to this will just know inherently that you despise the NBA just based off what you said right there.
Oh my gosh, I can't watch it.
All the flopping and the drama.
Why don't they respect the referees?
But you're not going to change their mind. That's what I can't get over, is you're not going to say anything to that referee at that time that's going to make them change their mind.
Basketball's a little different because these guys that nag, they get their way a lot of the time.
They do wear on them. Like Luka or Draymond, they do get more favorable calls because they do nag the refs constantly.
But football's different, man. Football, those refs are just, if you talk to me, flag.
And let's say, Luka, basketball, you're fighting with them every time up and down. What, you're going to have 5 receptions a game. Even if you let the ref hear on all 5 receptions, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. But Connor, real quick, the main point from this game that everyone's going to talk about in the A block everywhere tomorrow morning is the pass interference call. Did the Chiefs get bailed out? Was it a pass interference?
I think if you just watch the play in a tunnel, yes, it was the right call. It was pass interference. He was there a little bit early, and it sucks. As a fan of football, we went through it in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Like, it sucks. Like, that call sucks. It's the right call. The thing that makes me the most mad as a fan, I even texted you guys this today, is just that it just constantly works out for the Chiefs. And I don't know if this is me as a hurt Charlotte sports fan, airing out all my, grievances here on the KarterKast, but it always works out for them. We talked about it. Oh, give Mahomes the ball, 2 minutes left, he's going to win you the game. And if he doesn't, the refs will do it. Like, that's kind of what it seems like. And you know what? It was the right call. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, the refs rigged it for the Chiefs, yada, yada, yada. It was the right call. It's just shocking to me that this constantly happens in their favor. And it's just becoming a little much. Like, we've talked about, Patriots. I hated the Patriots dynasty. A lot of teams, Celtics, didn't love them. But, like, these dynasties, the Chiefs are pretty likable. The players are likable. Mahomes, I like a lot. Andy Reid's a good coach. Very personable. I like him a lot. It's all the extra stuff. The Taylor Swift stuff, the ref stuff, the constant, like, all these new fans, the announcers always going over them like that. It just gets to me. It's starting to wear on me. And I feel bad because it's like the Chiefs are so fun, but all this extra stuff is making me not like it. It's getting a little old.
Well, let's maybe keep T Swift out of this, okay? She's likable. She got some good music.
It's fine. Like, it was fun for a while, but now it's still, like, to the point. It's not even just that. It's just all the stuff mixed together is overblown. And it's starting to make me not like them as a dynasty, which sucks because they're so much fun.
They are so much fun.
Can I offer a counterpoint? That's just kind of what happens when you go back-to-back Super Bowls and then you win the Super Bowl 2 years before. Like, I hear what you're saying. It is frustrating. That DPI, it's given the context of the situation, should they have called it? I'm going to say yes because I'm a big letter of the law guy.
You knew it was coming.
Yeah, you knew 100%. You knew something was going to when it went to 4th and 16 or whatever it was. What was it? Illegal hands to the face or something that brought them back. Yeah. You knew something was going to happen to put them that would work out in the Chiefs' favor.
But not even that. The best part about this, why I love the Chiefs so much, is even on that 4th and 16, you're like, somehow, some way, they're going to convert it, even without the flag. You're like, he's going to figure out a way to complete a 16-yard pass. And then you have the stark contrast of these bottom feeder teams like the Giants and Panthers. Imagine them on a 4th and 16.
Turn the TV off.
Like, what?
There's no point.
I genuinely think it is a 0.1% chance that teams like the Giants and Panthers convert there. And it's probably 50% that the Chiefs convert that 4th and 16 in that situation.
No BS, Carter. I think the Chiefs have a better chance of converting 4th and 15 than the Panthers do, like 3rd and 2. And I mean that sincerely. I sincerely mean
great
that.
Point. I agree. I mean, you're not going to – yeah, no. 1 for 10 for the Panthers on 3rd down today. But this isn't a Panther show. We don't talk about the Panthers anymore. We're talking Chiefs-Bengals right now. It is refreshing to see that the Bengals aren't as bad as we all thought.
And we knew that.
We knew that. It was that weird Patriots week 1. It's just a weird game. Kind of a look-ahead spot to the Chiefs the following week in Arrowhead. Joe Burrow always performs in Arrowhead, always keeps it close. What we always need to remember for these Bengals-Chiefs games, especially in Arrowhead, is the line should just be a pick-em. If whoever's the dog, take them. This line should just be a pick-em every single time because you see the 5.5. We talked about it on the preview show. It's like
ridiculous.
I would take the 5.5. Take the points.
It always feels when these two teams meet, it just always feels like 27-24 either way. Something around there. Like a field goal separating.
Stay away from the total because the total can go from 52 to like 47.5. And you feel like you're always on the wrong side of that. But if you take the underdog in this spot, you're likely to win that almost every time.
My number one bullet point I wrote down for this game recap was if the spread's ever more than 3 or 3.5, hammer the dog no matter what. Like, that is one of the locks of the century in these games. And I swear, guys, if it could be 5 years from now, as long as Burrow, Mahomes, and the same cast of characters is on each side, this game will be close. It does not matter. The Bengals could be 2-12, and they meet a couple years from now, and I'm still taking the Bengals as underdogs. Like, so it will be close.
Also, even if a player goes out in this game, if a quarterback goes out, it's still close, it feels like. Like, whether you know Mahomes comes out and Carson Wentz would have came in, it still would have been close. It didn't matter. Dylan, go ahead.
So is this going a little ad lib here? The Chiefs-Bengals dynamic, where the Bengals always seem to keep it close. What do you chalk that up to? Because I could argue that in the past years, the Bills have been more talented than the Bengals. Like, and the Bengals are just always that team that is. I mean, is that Zach Taylor thing? Is that it used to be Brian Callahan thing, OC, or what's the deal there?
I would relate it more towards. It's not necessarily a complete rivalry game, but when you go into a rivalry game, whether it's Duke, Carolina, or Ohio State, Michigan, the spread's out the window, talent's out the window, injuries out the window. It honestly doesn't matter. Just when they get on the field, you just know it's going to be close. There's no rhyme or reason to it almost, but like you watch a Duke-Carolina game, whether it's, Duke's having a down, or let's say Carolina's having a down year in 2020, and Duke's much better. Carolina keeps that game close, and Carolina should have won. But going into that game, you're sitting there thinking,
shouldn't have been close.
This should have been a 10-point game. Duke's easily 10 points better. And Carolina should have won that game. That's how all of these Bengals-Chiefs games are. I think it's just turned into a rivalry in front of our eyes.
And you know what else is, to your question, Dylan, I think it can't be understated that the Bengals did get one early on Mahomes. They went to the Super Bowl. They were AFC champs.
Yeah.
The Bills never got that in the playoffs. So, like, the Bengals getting there, beating them, having that confidence in their head that we can do this, we've done it on the biggest stage in the AFC title game, I think that that confidence boost, that matters. Because if you're the Bills and you're Josh Allen, it's like, we haven't done this. We have not beat them in a meaningful game yet. And the Bengals have been there and done that. I think that's why they always play better and more confident, especially in Arrowhead, because they know they've done it before. I think that can't be understated.
Makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else on this game to touch on? I think we kind of nailed it. The Chiefs still look great. The Chiefs are obviously going to be in it for the three-peat, one of the best teams in the league. I don't think it really told us anything new other than we don't need to hit the panic button on the Bengals, even though they're 0-2.
And that's I think we look across the league, like the fact that we don't need to get into all of these games. The fact that the Ravens started 0-2 is huge for the Bengals. You have the Browns at 1-1. You have the Steelers at the top of the division at 2-0 right now with Jussie instead of Russie. So like it's not all dead for the Bengals yet. One takeaway I had: Chiefs still top. Like I don't take much away about the Chiefs win this game. I will say the Bengals defense impressed me, and I was down on the defense this year. Hendrickson got a few. I mean, he was generating pressures very well.
Yeah.
So,
and that secondary played pretty well. Mahomes made a couple mistakes, and like they a couple of those interceptions. Like Mahomes had 150 pass yards and 2 picks. If you give me that stat line, I take that every day and twice on Sunday.
There was one of those interceptions that it was not. It was you credit the defense for it. It was a I don't even think Mahomes saw 55, the linebacker coming in, and he just straight up took it. And that's something that it's not Mahomes' fault. It's just great defensive play. So very impressed with the Bengals defense today. That was the one unit on the Bengals I was low on coming into the season, and they proved me wrong a bit there.
Last point on the Bengals I want to make is their one Achilles heel. I'm still high on them. I'm not selling any of my Bengals stock. I can't trust the running back room.
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's
Zach
bad.
Moss and Chase Brown.
Chase Brown I like.
It was all right. He was all right.
But he can't be a feature back.
Yeah, he can't be the bell cow.
No.
He's the change of pace guy. And if you're using Zach Moss as your bell cow back, that's a problem. And that would be my Achilles heel. Like, Joe Mixon was never going to wow you, but he was consistent at least.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on. I want to talk about this. There was a lot of kind of shocking results today in the NFL. What's the most concerning loss to you guys today in the NFL? I'll start with you, Connor.
Yeah, most concerning loss just today in a vacuum is the Baltimore Ravens. I think that is, it might be y'all's answer too, but it's the right answer.
I have multiple, but we'll keep going.
Well, for the Ravens, their number one point season long, look at their schedule coming up. Dallas, Buffalo, Cincinnati. We talked on this. We've touched on this the last 2 shows. The Raiders was the one game we penciled them in to win. We were like, oh, they might start 1-4 with a win against the Raiders. For them to lose this game, even if they do win one of these next 3 games, it's still 1-4.
And for context, their schedule, they have to go to the Cowboys, who just came off a brutal loss against the Saints. They got to play the Bills, and they got to go to Cincinnati. That's 0-5 potential.
It is, which is nuts. And this is the first time a reigning MVP has started 0-2 in 22 years. Saw that stat getting floated around today. So, I was high on the Ravens last year, and then coming in this year, I just wasn't as high on them, especially because of all that defensive concern. Over 100 penalty yards today. I bet Dylan almost had a stroke watching that game.
And then, you shouldn't have watched the Panthers game either.
And then Lamar Jackson, 4 rushes for 20 yards. Meanwhile, week 1, he had 16 for 122 against Kansas City. We knew that wasn't going to continue. So if this is the Lamar we're going to get the whole year where he's only running 4 times, other than the last play, he ran like 30 yards in the last play of the game. I'm taking that out. He had 4 real rushes for 20 yards. If that's the Lamar we're going to get, I don't know how much this Ravens offense can be trusted, genuinely. Because he's not going to run 15 times every game, but that's when they're at their best. So if they're not going to run him, then, what do we expect?
And the other concerning part about this, too, is, one, we still believe they're in the toughest, if not second toughest division in football. These first 5 games, they're only playing one divisional opponent. They still got to go through all that grind, the entire grind of an AFC North divisional opponents. And later in the season, they're in a scary, scary, scary spot right now. I think that is a great pick for most concerning loss. What's yours, Dylan?
Everybody zigs. I zag. The most concerning loss is not a game.
Oh.
It is a player.
Oh, I like this.
It became extremely evident that the loss of Jordan Love for the Green Bay Packers is going to hurt them in the long run. They do not trust Malik Willis to throw this ball one bit. 12 for 14. I granted a lot of completions. I'm going to finish my point real quick, Karter. 14 pass attempts, averaging about 10 yards an attempt, but I don't have A-dot numbers. They were not trusting him to throw the ball. And now, granted, he didn't have to. Anthony Richardson turned the ball over 3 times. The last of those was a trash interception at the end of the game. But this is a really bad situation for Green Bay. You can tell no one in Green Bay trusts Malik Willis to throw the ball, and they're going to be a very one-dimensional team until Jordan Love comes back. And that's going to cause some problems for teams that they play that aren't the Colts. Thinking the Titans. Thinking that there's going to be some trouble for the Titans.
I can't wait for that Titans game next week.
Yeah.
Malik Willis revenge game. Question, how long is Jordan Love out, though?
I don't know. I've seen 2 or 3 weeks. I'm
So
not
2 or
sure.
3 weeks, I don't think it's that concerning because if you would have said Jordan Love is out, Malik Willis is playing for you, let's say Jordan Love is out 3 games, they go 1-2, I think you're fine with that. I don't think that's a season-ending thing because they stole that win today. They stole that win. It was like watching the Naval Academy play football today. They could not throw the ball. They didn't trust him to throw the ball, like you said. And also, it's just like you're playing tennis and you're just dinking it back. And you're just waiting for them to make the mistake. And that's what they did all game. They're like, we're not going to do anything out of the ordinary. We're just going to run the football 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Anthony Richardson try and get too cute on us. And he did. And he was terrible. He was awful.
And anyone with a brain knew that was the game plan for the Packers.
Yep.
Everyone knew. And if you've watched a lick of football, you knew Malik Willis was not going to throw that ball down the field. And even so, Josh Jacobs, 32 rush attempts, 151 yards. But Dylan, I think you're spot on in the short term. If Jordan Love's injury does linger and they're a one-dimensional team like this, if you're playing anybody with an average rush defense, this doesn't work. Because you look at the Colts, they gave up 159 yards to Joe Mixon last week, 151 to Jacobs today, 261 total yards rushing for the Packers today. If you're an average rush defense, that doesn't get it done. 16 points doesn't get it done. So short term, and if that injury for Jordan Love does linger, Packers are probably number 2 or 3 on my list of most concerned about for sure.
Let's. I have a lot of options here for the worst loss today. We can go Panthers, but we're not. We'll get to the Panthers later, and we can get into that. But that's not my worst loss because, look, it was gross and they're terrible. That's the thing; they're terrible. It's not concerning. Like we knew they're terrible. My most concerning loss today is the Los Angeles Rams. That was eye-opening. Eye-opening how pitiful that was on both sides of the ball for them. The Cardinals bullied them on offense, bullied them on defense. This is a real concern not having Puka Nacua in. And the other concern is that Cardinals front 7 isn't dynamite by any means. Probably bottom 5 in this league, if we're being honest. They were getting to Matthew Stafford in a split second. And that's going to be a concern all season long. Matthew Stafford is not going to be able to stay healthy this season. Cooper Kupp is already banged up. He was struggling to get through the first half of that game. Puka Nacua is out 5 to 7 weeks now. It was 3 to 4. Then it was 4.
It'll keep going up.
Now it's 5 to 7. I'll make a pick. I don't like to predict injuries, but knowing Puka Nacua's injury history, all right, knowing his injury history, I don't think he plays the rest of this season, if we're being honest, because this is what he did at BYU. He would come. Yeah. He might play one more game this year, and it's just going to get re-aggravated. He's an injury-prone player. That's why he fell on draft boards. And that's kind of who he is, unfortunately. I love Puka Nacua, but the Rams, it's very, very concerning. There is real potential for them to end up in a top 5 pick scenario this season. That defense is so bad.
We did our worst losses. I also had the team that's in the most trouble, and Karter, no spoilers here, Rams, 100%. Just look at the wide receiver room that they have. Let's say Cooper Kupp has to miss a couple weeks. Tutu Atwell is wide receiver number 1. You have DeMarcus Robinson, Tyler Johnson, I guess. He probably takes the most snaps, and Jordan Whittington. Like, who are you going to throw to? You don't have anybody to throw to in that receiver room. That's a real problem. If Puka ends up not playing again this year and Kupp misses a couple games, they could find themselves in a really deep hole by like week 6.
Yeah, absolutely. It's scary hours for the Los Angeles Rams, Connor.
Dylan, on the preview show, we were pretty high on the Rams. And I don't know about you, but this was entirely contingent on the Rams offense and them staying healthy, and Stafford and McVay and Puka and Cooper Kupp and Kyron Williams staying healthy. Without that, I have zero faith in this defensive unit, number one. If you're letting Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. dice you up like that, Kyler Murray was 17 for 21, 270 yards, 3 touchdowns, 60 yards rushing. Kyler Murray.
He looked like Michael Vick out there.
Yeah, exactly. He's a pretty good quarterback, but that Rams defense, especially the secondary, no faith in them. And all my Rams takes before the year were contingent on the offense, and if the defense could just be average. Without their top 2 weapons on the outside and that O-line looking worse than I thought, I think you're right. They're just in trouble for sure.
Yeah, and I guess this goes into the same point, who's in the most trouble. I think we all agree that the Rams are probably in the most trouble after today.
It's not looking great for them at all.
Yeah,
There's nothing really to look forward to.
I wrote down the Rams as well, not to be the college game day graphic, but it's the right answer.
It is the right answer. It is. If you're a Rams fan, there is very little to look forward to. And let's move on. Let's talk about best buy low team right now. Talk a little positive right now. Who's one of those teams that are, kind of down on the dumps a little bit, and you're like, ooh, I want to buy stock on them. Their stock's a little too low. They're 0-2, maybe a bad 1-1. Who do you want to buy stock in, Dylan? Because, for example, the Saints stock price is at such an all-time high.
Sell everything.
This is like
Sell.
GameStop at $400.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're crazy if you buy in on the Saints right now. But Dylan, who's your best buy low team? I think there's an obvious answer, but go ahead.
I can hear the comments already. You got to make sure none of the decor in the background is showing. Homer. It has to be the Titans. I mean, it has to be.
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be.
It has to be the Titans. They are 2 dumb, stupid decision turnovers away from being 2-0. They're in a division. They're tied for last with 2 other teams that are 0-2, and they haven't played a divisional game yet. And there are things that the defense looks a lot better from the Titans than it has in years past. They're not letting teams just be explosive in the air. Now, granted, they 24 points. Letting them score, the Jets score 24 points and the Bears score 24 points isn't great, but you add context to those.
Defense's fault.
Exactly. So there are things to look up here. 0-2. You have 2 other teams right there with you at 0-2. The Texans, they're playing right now. Just looks like
CJ Stroud throw a pick.
I don't know. They're signaling incomplete, but it's
what a play by. Yeah, that was a great play.
Just silly decisions for the Titans have cost them these games, and that is something. If Levis was just missing wide open throws, that's something where I would be a little more concerned. He's made contended throws. We saw a couple today. He's just making really dumb decisions, and I think that's something that can get ironed out. Now, I will say, I said the same thing last week. I'll give him till week 4. If he's still making those decisions at week 4, then we have to have a serious conversation about if something's getting through to his head. But it's a sign of that dog in him, right? You like talking about that dog not wanting to take the sack. You saw that rush he had late in the game today. That's what you get with Will Levis. So him wanting to not take the sack, I think that's a good thing, but he has to learn to be smart. He has to learn to actually throw the ball away, not just shovel it out. So I'm going Titans by low.
I think the obvious answer is the Bengals.
That's what I wrote down.
Really?
Yes. 0-2
Tough
right
division.
now.
Look at their schedule coming up. Washington, Carolina, Baltimore, Giants, Browns. That's 4-1 at worst. They'll probably beat Baltimore too.
That's 4-1 at worst.
That's 4-1 at worst. I really do believe that, especially with Joe Burrow looking pretty sharp today. They'll probably get T. Higgins back in the next couple weeks. Like, they're only going up.
Counterpoint, the Titans are about to get a Skylar Thompson-led Dolphins team and Malik Willis at Green Bay.
Now
that is true.
And then bye week Colts.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
buy low on the Titans, baby.
Bye week Colts, and then you play the worst quarterback in the division, Anthony Richardson.
What's the stock price of the Carolina Panthers right now? If you're on one of the trading apps,
you're not even on. You're on the pink sheets. You're like it from.
We're on the Australian Stock Exchange.
This is like one of those random cryptocurrencies that people try to jack up, like Safe Moon or something, and it's like, come on, it's like 5 cents a share, and you're like, nah, I'm probably not going to invest in that.
You can only buy Panther stock in a back alley somewhere. You can't even buy it online.
Yeah. There's only a certain part of Charlotte you can go to buy that.
Let's go through some games real quick. I want to talk about some games. This game was I had it in one of my most concerning losses. It was the Lions-Bucks. Bucks win 20-16. This was a contender for most concerning loss for me today, and I'll go off this real quick. The Lions, Dylan, I am joining the bandwagon. there is no way the Lions are winning the Super Bowl this season.
Oh, absolutely not.
If Jared Goff is the quarterback of the Detroit Lions, and I don't mean to do this while Ben's gone, I will say it to his face too. The Detroit Lions behind Jared Goff are not winning the Super Bowl, and today was the prime example why. Because guess what? When it's time to, get
Saddle up.
Yeah, exactly. Saddle up, and it's time to make the big throws on 3rd and long and not throw interceptions. And we say this, but truly
or just
make
get the ball
the
to the end
plays.
zone on a 4th down.
Get the ball to the end zone. Get the ball to the markers. It's just he craps the bed under the bright lights consistently, and he has everything around him to work in his favor. He has the best offensive line, some of the best weapons, especially now that Jameson Williams has stepped up. The best 1-2 running back duo in the league right now. He could not have a better situation in Detroit. He plays indoors, Dylan.
Did they raise the dome today? They might have put the dome up today. Who knows?
And he was pitiful today. You can look at the stats. Oh, he had over 250 passing yards. He threw 55 times, multiple turnovers today, and he was the sole reason this team lost today. He was pitiful. I can't get behind it. You have to have a decent quarterback that can win you games in the Super Bowl, that can elevate you. Jared Goff lowers their ceiling so much. He does not elevate them in any way.
He's got a top 5 O-line. He wasn't pressured at all today. 0 sacks and still made mistakes.
Vita Vea was out half the game.
All right, honesty hour. Honesty hour. I need you guys to be honest with me.
You didn't watch the game.
The 2 interceptions were they bad?
Yes, they were terrible.
Were they really
bad?
bad?
One was really bad. Yeah,
really bad.
See,
one of them, Jameson Williams, apparently either got hit or didn't cut the right route, but the safety was right there. It would have been a suicide ball either way. So it was a bad decision either way.
It was bad, Dylan.
I came away from this not really worrying that much about the Lions. Like, I thought that this was a great time to sell on a 2-0 Buccaneers team.
Well, yes, that is true as well.
I think both are true, though. I think this was extremely concerning for the Lions because they were shaky against the Rams last week, and we kind of know what that Rams team is a little bit more now. And you can throw that out the window. Week 1 rust. You can say, okay, week 1 doesn't really matter as much. They had the game in their hands. The Bucs weren't even doing anything impressive. And also, the Lions defense did what they should have done today. If you said the Bucs were scoring 20 points today and you only need to score 21 points, score 3 touchdowns with this Lions offense at home in a dome, you take that every single time. There's no reason they should have lost today. This was a concerning loss. Now, am I saying smash the panic button, they're going to be a terrible team, miss the playoffs, not win the division? No, their schedule's too easy. They're probably going to win 12, 13 games this season. But when it comes down to it, and they're sitting there facing against Patrick Mahomes, even if they're in the Super Bowl, I have zero faith the Detroit Lions and behind Jared Goff will win a Super Bowl when they're having to face a quarterback like a Josh Allen, like Joe Burrow, like Pat Mahomes. Because when it comes down to it, there's 2 minutes left, and you got to make the drive of your life. Can you do it? And Jared Goff can't.
Well, here's a good stat for you guys. You look at Tampa Bay, talking about sell high on Tampa Bay. 3 of their 4 scoring drives were self-inflicted mistakes by Detroit. You go through them. Their first scoring drive, 26 yards gained for Tampa Bay. 41-yard pass interference penalty got them down there for that. Second scoring drive, field goal, only 24 yards gained. Goff was picked at midfield. Third scoring yard, Godwin, 41-yard touchdown. That was legit. And then the last one, they gained 55 yards. 2 15-yard penalties on that last drive. So it's like Tampa Bay was benefiting from these Detroit defensive self-inflicted wounds. So like you said, Karter, the defense did hold them to 20 points, but they were kind of shooting themselves in the foot. And then what's even more worrisome is that offense, like you said, score 21 points on a Bucs defense that is not that good. And they couldn't even do that today. That is very concerning. Now, I will say, I'm not going to panic on the Lions. They're probably still going to win 13 games. But this just reaffirms all of my suspicions that they are not a playoff team and they're on fraud watch as soon as the playoffs start.
They are. I mean, we keep comparing it to the NBA, but they are a prime candidate to look like a Jeff Teague's Hawks team. Oh, fun. You won 65 games in the regular season. Go do it against LeBron James. Go win against LeBron James. Until then, I'm not going to believe it. And we've seen you can take what you want from the Jared Goff 19 Super Bowl against the Patriots. That was one of the worst Super Bowl performances of all time.
Very fun to watch.
Very fun to watch. Worst Super Bowl to watch besides Seahawks Broncos.
You're a sicko, Dylan.
I think we are getting to the same conclusion, just different ways. Like I
think you're right.
I agree. 100%. They're not a Super Bowl they're not a Super Bowl like they'll maybe make the Super Bowl because the NFC is so easy, because their schedule is so easy, but I don't think they're capable of winning it. But I don't leave this game thinking.
But
like,
are you only leaving this?
Lions.
Are you only leaving this game thinking that way because they outgained Tampa Bay?
I would say because they outgained them. I don't think 2 interceptions per game is going to be the norm for Jared Goff. They ran a bunch more plays, a bunch more first downs. They went 1 for 7 in the red zone, and that just statistically is not going to happen every time.
But
so there are things.
I think what Connor and I are really getting at here, though, is when it was the end of the game and it was really, I mean, he had 2 chances. He had 2 drives. He got lucky with 2 drives under 2 minutes left to win the game. And you really didn't have the confidence that he was going to do it. You thought, okay, maybe he can dump a little screen pass to Jahmyr Gibbs, and Jahmyr Gibbs will go make that play. But when it was time, you got to throw and make a 10-yard pass. I don't
Goff's
think
not
Connor
scrambling out of the pocket and making a throw on the run.
Yeah, it was pitiful.
I don't see it.
It was pitiful. It was,
and Laporta's been a no-show all
that.
year too. Also,
yeah, I don't know what that's all about. Maybe he's injured. Who knows? But I was very concerned with the Lions. They're still going to win 12, 13 games, probably.
still high on the Bucks. Still high on the Bucks.
Okay,
100%.
Well, like I just said with the scoring drives, Baker Mayfield was their leading rusher today with 34 yards rushing. I'm not a Rashard White believer at all. Like I said, a lot of volume, not efficient. Bucky Irving's probably the best back in that backfield. I'm not ready. This Tampa Bay team. I mean, you just look at their 2 wins so far. It doesn't. I'm not backing off this stance. They are not the best team in the division. I'm telling you guys right now.
Let's stay in that same division. Let's talk about the Saints. They won 44-19 to the Cowboys. Are the Saints the greatest team in NFL history right now through 2 weeks?
Well, we have an issue right now. Wilkerson ratings are now out. Well, by the time this is released, they'll be out. Saints are number 1.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the data. It's the data.
I mean, what did the Saints listen to this podcast? Did the Saints say? Do they put
bulletin board material?
Did they put on our NFC South preview on the locker room every day on repeat, just being like, "Hey guys, you see Connor? He said Kamara, you suck. You see Karter? he said you guys are going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL, the entire NFL. He said you guys were going to finish last in the NFC South. F these guys. I don't know what they are playing, pissed out of their minds. Derek Carr is the MVP through 2 weeks. This is how crazy this is.
Carter, I thought Kamara was going to score and pull up his jersey, and his shirt was going to say F KarterKast on it. Like, genuinely. Like, I was waiting on something like that to happen. Like, it's shocking how opposite they have played from what we expected. And I'm still going to sell. I'm not buying that the Saints are this good either. Like, I don't know what to do with this NFC South division because I'm convinced, like, probably 3.5 of the 4 teams are horrible. Like seriously.
Like we saw the Falcons last week. We're recording Sunday night, so we haven't seen the Monday night game. But like, we don't know what the Falcons are. We thought the Falcons were going to be good, but they might actually be terrible. This Saints team literally looks like the best team in football.
I don't get it.
It doesn't make any sense.
The stat today: Derek Carr led scoring drives on his first 15 drives of this season. That's what I heard on the broadcast.
The starting offense hasn't missed a touchdown. Is this a concern for the Cowboys, or is it just the Saints are red hot right now and they just caught the Saints in a weird spot?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I didn't get to watch this game. This was one you just got the Twitter notifications all day. Kamara touchdown. Oh, Kamara 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. Oh, Kamara
900-yard touchdown.
Absolutely insane. But it does feel like the Cowboys always get themselves involved with these crazy they have a good defense, so you always blowouts, but both ways. Either they're blowing a team out, they're getting blown out. I don't know. I'm going to defer here. I don't have much to say about this one.
I think as much as I don't like the Bucks, I put more stock into the Bucks beating the Lions than I do this Saints performance today. Because we've seen this with the Saints. Like the Bucks made the playoffs last year. We've seen them be a decent team at least. We know who the Saints are. We know who Derek Carr and Dennis Allen are together. We've seen it before. Just because they've had a couple good weeks.
I don't know, man.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Everybody's so talented in the NFL. This can happen. You can get hot like this. This does not mean it's going to carry over the rest of the season.
So you're selling more on the Saints than you are the Bucks. Yeah, I don't think I'm
crazy. I think I am, which is crazy.
I don't know, man. This Saints team, like I know they played the Panthers and it's the Panthers, but we'll get a real good look at this Saints team in the next couple weeks. They got to play the Falcons and then they play Monday night. They got to play the Eagles. So they got to play the Eagles, the Falcons, and the Chiefs. We're going to get a real good look at what this Saints team is all about. If we're sitting here with the Saints 5-0 after week 5, and we're like, are the Saints going to win the Super Bowl?
If the Saints are 5-0, I'll buy a Kamara jersey and wear it on every episode the rest of the year.
Okay, all right, we have it.
If
There we
they
go.
start 5-0, I will do that.
We have it right there. Quickly, let's run through some crappier games, and then we'll talk about some better games. Giants Commanders. This game didn't matter, but you knew it was just going to be a close game that came down to the wire. That was going to be something weird that happened. Commanders win 21-18. Fun, I guess. Cool.
Giants,
7 field goals for Washington.
The definition of field goal death. They brutal third-degree murder by field goal. That's not even like manslaughter or battery. That is the highest degree of murder, premeditated. Sorry about it. 7 field goals.
This is a game you can't put any stock into, though, real quick. It's two bad teams. A lot of players look great today. I mean, Devin Singletary had 95 yards rushing in 2024, and then Brian Robinson had 133. This is a primetime game where those players look great, but if you're a Washington or New York Giants truther or fan, don't put too much stock into this. Don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Giants fan, this is great. Giants and Panthers are competing
Neighbors
for
look
0-17.
Neighbors look good, though.
Neighbors did look great today. We talked about Bucs Lions. This was a concerning game. We touched on it briefly, but Colts Packers. PU when you think about the Colts. Anthony Richardson last week, you're like, oh man, this guy's got he's got some juice to him. And then this week, holy smokes, he looked like he's never even seen a cover 2 in his life.
He's not a good quarterback. He's not a good quarterback.
So third interception in my mind, you wipe it out, end of the game, whatever. We can act like that didn't happen. The first 2 interceptions, the first one he was like throwing off of his back foot, falling off the ball. I mean, it was just it was very poor, and then the second interception was not that much better. Not great. Not great if you're a Colts fan. Not great if you're an Anthony Richardson truther. Yeah, not great all around.
Yeah, it was very concerning for the Colts. You cannot lose to a Malik Willis-led football team. You can't.
I'm not backing off. Anthony Richardson's not a good quarterback, though. He's fun. He's electric. Big arm. He could lead some upsets. If you want a quarterback that's going to lead you to a playoff win, it's not him. I'm sorry. It's not happening. Especially with this horrible defense. That doesn't help either.
Can we talk about a game I was so excited about, and I'm glad I was able to call it this week?
Oh, yeah.
Vikings 49ers.
Boys.
Vikings 23, Niners 17. I was texting, my cousin who's a Vikings fan, whatnot, and I watched a lot of Vikings tape this week. I was like, you know what? Let's see was this Sam Darnold stuff? Was it the Giants defense or was it Sam Darnold? Brother, it was Sam Darnold. He is not a bad quarterback. And I want to pose this question, especially to you, Dylan. Are the Vikings better off with Sam Darnold over Kirk Cousins?
Wow, you can't just drop this on me. Early returns say yes, and that's something we've harped on it all year. Sam Darnold with weapons. We saw displays of the arm talent. The dude was zipping that ball down the middle of the field. That 97-yard touchdown pass to Jefferson, it was beautiful. Now Jefferson, had to get his way to the end zone, but it was. And keep in mind, he was doing all of this without his number 2. Addison didn't play, and then Justin Jefferson was gone for the last part of the game, and it just didn't seem like it mattered. It's really impressive stuff we're seeing from Darnold, and I think we're right about this one. No one will let us know we know ball, but I think we were right about this one.
I mean, we've been kind of preaching the Darnold choir. We've been preaching the Darnold music left and right. He looked good today, and I don't think this is a concerning loss about the 49ers because that could have been on the list too of like, are you worried about the 49ers now that McCaffrey's probably going to go on the IR and miss the first 4 weeks and whatnot? This was, holy crap. Kevin O'Connell is one of the best coaches in this league. Sam Darnold is great, and also Sam Darnold is just one of these quarterbacks. You finally get him into a good situation like a Jared Goff, like a Baker Mayfield. They're going to be successful. It's the system that helps so much. And Sam Darnold can be a solid quarterback. The Vikings are a legit contender in the NFC North. That's not a crazy statement.
So I know you kind of addressed it with that little statement you made right there. But my brother is a Vikings fan, and he asked me the question, can the Vikings win the division? Are the Vikings going to win the NFC North?
I don't think they are because the Lions' schedule is so easy. But they are – I think they're in that same tier as the Los Angeles Chargers this season where they're going to win 9-10 games and be a wild card in the playoff. Not really do anything in the playoffs, but a really solid season, understanding the circumstances.
Well, a team with a 6.5 win total, now we're talking about them maybe sneaking into the wild card, and it wouldn't surprise me. Seriously, the Vikings making that 7th seed would not shock me.
you have to feel better about them than the Bears or the Packers. I mean, you just have to right now from what we've seen.
Bears, I think it's a little early just because they did steal that win against the Titans, and I feel like we're going to see a better version of Caleb Williams.
When do you think that'll kick in? Well, because we're week 2 right now. And
Year 4?
Why are we sitting here? We can't crap on rookie quarterbacks in week 2.
No, we can't. We got to be extremely positive. Then, year 2 is when we come down on.
We're going to sit here and call a guy a bust after week 2.
We got to wait at least a year, and
Come
then
on.
about by week 2 when they get beat by the Chargers, we'll start having a real conversation about them.
But like I said,
I was a little worried about the 49ers, guys. A little bit.
Really? I don't think I was
worried.
too worried about that.
Well, here's the thing. McCaffrey's on IR. It's a hamstring injury. We talked about this in the preseason show. Is that going to go away? It's never going to fully heal. It's not going to fully heal this season. And if it does, he'll have to miss like 10 weeks. Like, it is a nagging, lingering injury. Jordan Mason's fine, but man, without CMC there, a lot more falls on Purdy's shoulders. And I don't know. There's been a couple moments where I'm not too confident.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a better version of Brandon Ayuk. I still think that holdout stuff, I think we wait till about
fair.
week 5, week 6, once he finally gets his feet wet. I think we're going to see a much better version of him. If it's kind of the similar thing where they're 500 through 6-7 weeks, then I'm going to be a little more concerned. But knowing how good this team is, how dominant they looked against the Jets last week, and how highly I kind of think of the Vikings right now, I'm not too concerned about the Niners. Dylan?
Who's on the? Even if you are concerned, who's on their tail? Like, do you really think the Cardinals are that good? I think maybe
Seahawks.
the Seahawks. Seahawks defense looks great, but there's it's just
We got to win against New England today, though. Like, if we're talking,
New England might be good.
Games,
they might be good. We don't know. We don't know.
No.
They're running the ball very well.
Let's just talk about that game real quick. Seahawks win in overtime. This game didn't get its own screen. This was a red zone watch for me, so all is fair here. But I think the Patriots, if you're a Patriots fan right now, this is an awesome position to be in. You want to lose this game. You don't want to win this game. But guess what? You're a competitor. You don't want to win this game, Dylan. You want a good draft pick because you're still a year away from Drake May taking over this team. Yes, you're going to eventually see him at some point this season, but the fact is that Jalen Polk looked really good. And also, they are very, very competitive in these games. That's what really matters right now. And then you can slot in a quarterback that you think can be your franchise quarterback like Drake May. You're in an awesome position right now. I think you're very happy if you're a Patriots fan. Even though you lose today, I don't think you care. Wins and losses really don't matter for them this season, to be honest.
I was going to pose the question, and I don't know how confident I am anymore. Are the Seahawks the team that's 2-0 that you're the least confident in? And I was going to ask that. I had prepped that for the show, and then I went through the teams that are 2-0. Oh my God. Like, some of these teams that are 2-0, Seattle, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Minnesota in the NFC. I don't feel confident in any of those 4 teams, really. And then the Chargers, Chiefs, Steelers, Bills.
Yeah. You could make a case. I'm high on the Seahawks after their first 2 games. The defense is just... When they hired Mike McDonald, I asked myself the question, is the defense actually going to look better? And I have seen that for the first 2 weeks. But you think about the teams that they've beat, and it's the Broncos, who Bo Nix is bad. I think we've all kind of came to that conclusion. And the Patriots, who are more interested in running the ball than throwing the ball. I see where you could doubt the Seahawks because their competition to this point has not been top tier. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, but I definitely understand why that's something you would think.
I think maybe outside the NFC South, it's either them or the Steelers, with who I'm the least confident in. Teams
Well,
that are 2-0
Steelers'
right now.
defense is swarming. They're swarming, and
That
they're already a
Steelers
fourth away to that
offense
win
is
total.
Iowa.
Snoozing.
Well, they don't have their starter, so
They aren't sussy.
No.
Yeah, no. Seahawks, I don't know. Like, they're another one of those teams where, hey, fun, you make the wild card game, but you're not going to really do anything.
Sure.
They're getting Miami with Skylar Thompson next week. They're probably going to be 3-0, and I don't think I still feel great about them even after that.
Like, they're kind of in this no
Caleb
man.
Williams, another interception. Oh, my God. What a loser. What a loser. Okay, all right.
Oh, that's genuine.
Dylan,
oh my gosh.
if the Bears somehow make the NFC title game, will you paint your nails?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Anyhow, let's move on. Let's talk about some other games real quick. We have the Jets-Titans. We touched on it a little bit. Brother, Dylan, get your guy Will Levis to stop making dumb decisions. He's
Yeah.
losing you guys football games.
Did you see
Doom.
Callahan on this? Yeah, big doom from Will Levis.
Doom.
for
Yeah,
some of
what
these
the F are
decisions.
you doing, Will Levis?
Yeah, what are you doing, Will? We've touched on it. We don't need to spend too much time on it. The defense looks much improved. That has been a huge problem the last couple years. Will Levis is making contested throws that are impressing me. And I think that these stupid decisions, these stupid snap decisions that you're turning the ball over and giving the opposing team great field position, I don't think it's going to last the whole season. And like I said, we're in a division. 3 teams are 0-2, and we haven't played a divisional opponent yet. So,
Yep.
and we have two favorable situations coming up. So, yeah, not worried about the Titans. I think Will Levis is still the guy. He's got the dog. I'm loving life in Nashville right now.
From a Jets perspective, I wanted to say this. Rodgers looked fine. He's not going to be that MVP caliber guy. I bet on him for MVP. I think it's clear he's not going to be playing at that level this year, but that's fine. What he's doing now, being an average guy that's reliable, won't turn the ball over, just gets you what you need to get, it's miles better than what they had last year at the quarterback situation. Miles better. And if that defense just holds up and continues to improve and the offense just isn't horrible, I still think they make the playoffs. So, they've had 2 performances in a row that haven't been awesome, but I'm not selling any Jet stock.
I'm not super high.
On
I
Jets,
think I feel better. Well, here's the thing. The Bills we like, but then it's the Patriots and the Dolphins without Tua now. So the Jets are probably the second best team in that division without a doubt right now.
Yeah, but I think the rest of let me think about because you think about the rest of the AFC. The AFC North is what, going to have 3 teams in?
2 of them are 0-2 right now, and the Steelers are the only undefeated team, and I don't even think the Steelers are getting in. So maybe not.
Chargers are probably getting in.
Chargers,
Yeah.
maybe. Maybe, yeah. AFC South probably only has 1, if we're being realistic.
Mine only have 1. Yeah, that's
If
fair.
we're being realistic,
Titans.
yeah. Jets will be in. The Jets will be in the playoffs. I do think that.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't really. That game was fine. It was mainly just Will Levis is his decision making. It's like watching an episode of Looney Tunes.
He makes good plays, Dylan. He does. He's electric, but
he
some of
does.
those, it's just boomer bust. It's the most boomer bust guy in the league, I
Boomer
think.
Doom.
Boomer Doom.
Costco
It's
guy.
Boomer Doom.
Boomer Doom guy. Boomer Doom guy.
I think you're right, but the decisions I think are coming from the right place. It's like,
At least it's not him being scared. It's him trying to make a play.
I have seen Jake, my brother and my dad be Vikings fans and get so irate at the fact that Kirk just sits down and takes sacks. And it's like, I would rather have a guy, well, I don't know if I could go that far. I would rather have somebody that leans towards being aggressive than leans towards being conservative. But there are just blatantly dumb decisions you can't make. And Will Levis is making them right now. I don't think he makes them the rest of the year.
All right, let's move on. This game was also in contention for most concerning loss. Whoever lost this game was going to be in contention for it. Was Jags-Browns. Browns won 18-13. Just a gross game across the board by both teams. Deshaun Watson didn't look bad today. You look at the stats, you're like, oh, he didn't throw a touchdown or anything. When you watch the game, his throws were actually pretty accurate. He was it looked a lot smoother today. It wasn't as crappy, and maybe just the Cowboys rattled him early and no preseason affected them. So I don't know what that was about. We'll see what the Browns going forward. It's nice that the Browns stole this game. The Jags, man, this is a game you had to win. You can't fall to the Browns right here. This is really concerning for the Jaguars right now, and it's going to get to the point where the Trevor Lawrence discourse is going to start heating up here very, very soon.
Well, the question that I'm sure will be asked tomorrow whenever this game is covered in the D block of NFL Live or whatever they do. Yeah, the D block.
We're in the
one
J
right
block
before
right
4:45. Yeah, exactly. The question is going to be, did Deshaun Watson outplay Trevor Lawrence? And the answer is yes. In this game today, he did. Trevor Lawrence looked bad, and as a guy who was a Jags believer, and even last week against Miami, Lawrence looked fine. Today was very concerning. Very concerning. Browns defense was getting pressure. They sacked him 4 times. Lawrence was only 14 for 30 passing. Just inaccurate, just missing throws. I don't know. I'm a little concerned about the Jags.
And also the fact that the Jags lose to the Dolphins. I mean,
that was a game they had to win.
They're right there at 2-0, and it's so frustrating watching this team. And you're like, okay, let's get things back, get the wheels back on track. But then they got to go to the Bills, and then they got to go to the Texans, and then they got a divisional game against the Colts, and then at the Bears.
But the thing is with Lawrence, like he's getting all this money, but it's probably deserved. Even if he's not winning you all these games, you can't not pay a guy like Trevor Lawrence. That's the thing.
Because you look at the rest of the quarterback play in the league, and you're like, he's still above average.
He is top half no matter what, even playing like he did today. He's top half of the league. I don't know. This was one of the games with 10 games on at one time. This is the one I forgot was at 1 p.m. Like I saw the score update on Red Zone or something. I was like, I thought that game was at 4:30. I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I have one TV that I like to flip through and try and catch the other games that aren't on a quad box and aren't on a red zone and aren't on the Panthers. Obviously, should have just changed the Panthers. Yeah, oh my gosh. But yeah, I didn't touch this game. I watched as much as I could, and it was kind of gross. But big win for the Browns, though. Big win for the Browns. And Ravens Raiders. We touched on it a little bit. Look, the Ravens' concern is there. They're another team that could have been most concerning for me too, because that offensive line doesn't look great, man. Lamar's running for his life. Why are the Ravens blowing these leads and losing these games?
Blew a 10-point lead in the fourth, and the Raiders had 27 total yards rushing and still won. So they really lost to Gardner Minshew. They lost to Gardner Minshew. Like he passed the ball 38 times. Yeah, like to blow a 10-point lead to that team, I don't know. Brock Bowers looked great though. Yeah. That's a prime. Bowers is a prime time where it's like you draft the best available. Even though they had Michael Meyer, who's pretty good tight end, you draft the best guy available. He looked great today.
Yeah, and then
real quick on that. I don't know if I'm completely. This game does not concern me a whole lot about the Ravens. I think
defensively, even not defensively. I don't know.
You're a Justin Tucker missed field goal away from being tied at least, and that's not
that close though. The Raiders are not good.
They were up 10 too. Is the issue.
The Raiders took advantage of the short field they got. They got one possession at the Baltimore 46, turned it into a touchdown. Ravens had more yards per play, which I think is a more telling stat.
Yeah.
And then we touched on it, the 10 penalties for 109 penalty yards. That's a lot. I don't think that happens every game. I understand it's a tough loss. They have a tough stretch coming up. We said it in the preview show, 1-4, but I don't think this is too concerning for the Ravens.
Yeah, but the problem is when
that locker room goes.
Yeah, when you combine all of that together, and you're like, oh my gosh, man, the 0-5 potential's here. When you combine the tough schedule and how they look today, it's bad, man. It's really bad what's going on in Baltimore. 0-5. You don't come back from 0-5. You're done.
If you're 1-4 or 0-5, you're staring down the barrel of not making the playoffs. That means the rest of the year for those next 12 games, you have to be damn near perfect and win 9 of the last 12 or 10 of the last 12.
Really think about this. The Panthers and the Ravens could have the same schedule same record after 5 weeks. The Panthers, Giants, and the Ravens.
That's fair.
Yeah.
The beauty of the NFL.
All right, let's get this over with. Panthers 3, Chargers 26. We won't spend too long on this game because, one, it was a very boring game. The Chargers just ran the ball down the Panthers' throat, and Bryce Young looked awful once again. Yeah, man. What do you want me to say, Dylan? What do you want me to say?
Does anybody want to apologize?
Nah, I'm not going to apologize.
No, not yet. When can I expect that?
I'm going through enough. I can't worry about apologies right now.
Why would I apologize? Why would I apologize?
Like everybody else, yeah.
Why would I apologize?
Another one of the commenters. Because I told you. I remember doing the draft show, and I said you don't want Bryce Young. You also
told me I didn't want CJ Stroud.
Okay, so now we're not talking about Chargers Panthers, or are we going to stick on this game? Are we going to stay on
Bryce? Let's talk about Bryce Young real quick. Everyone's talking about, okay, when is Andy Dalton going to come in? When should he get benched and all this stuff? The dumbest thing the Carolina Panthers could do is bench Bryce Young this season. And I'll tell you why. The reason why it would be stupid for them to bench Bryce Young this season is because Bryce Young might give you the best chance at 0-17, to be honest, guys. He might. Because why? You already spent so much capital on him. You can't give up on him after 2 to 3 weeks. Just let it play out. You're not a Super Bowl team. You're not a playoff team. You're not even a 7-win team. You're not even going to a college football bowl game. You're not even going to make the Bahamas Bowl. Why would you bench him? Play him 17 games. If he gets hurt, whatever. Move on. That's how it is.
This season's already in the toilet, 2 games in. So here's the thing. You have to play Bryce the rest of the year because then after 2 full years of being the starter, you know for sure what you got.
Yeah.
There's not going to be, unless it's like a Jordan Love situation where he's not playing and he's sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. But if you got 2 full years of a guy starting, you pretty much know what you have, seeing him every day in practice. So let him play the season out, make an opinion. Sure, most people are already out on him, and for good reason. The Panthers had more penalty yards than he had pass yards today. So there's some concerning signs.
He was Josh Rosen 2.0.
So if you sit down in front of the TV and put yourself through that experience to watch the Panthers, it's very concerning because just take the numbers out of it. He has 0 pocket awareness. I mean, guys are coming around from all sides, and he has no clue. He basically backed into Bosa for a sack today. It was just so concerning. And we can't even get that mad at the weapons this year. Like Thielen, Deontay Johnson, there's multiple times they're open. There's multiple plays they're open and he misses them. When Adam Thielen, who is very even keel, veteran guy in the locker room, very level-headed, when he's freaking out and getting mad and banging his helmet multiple times during a game, that means something's wrong that's probably not his fault.
Yeah, but that was coaching. That he was mad at coaching. Clarified that in the press conference.
For one of them. The other one, he was wide open and Bryce Young just didn't hit him and he was pissed.
Yeah, fair. But also, can the Panthers try one deep throw? Can they just like one-on-one chuck it? Like, just close your eyes and chuck it.
You know why they don't? You know why they don't? They see Bryce Young every day in practice, and that's not the playbook because they know it will not go well. That's the thing. Like last year, I was like, why won't we try this? I'm starting to get on the wave where they see him every day.
Well, if
he was able to make these throws, they would put it in the playbook.
They also don't have a one-on-one. They don't have a one-on-one receiver.
Want to make. Yeah, but the coaching staff doesn't want to not throw the ball down the field. They want explosive plays. They don't want to not do that, but they have to play with what they got. And Bryce Young, I've got a foot and a half out the door on him.
You're right. Just say you're out. Just say you're out. Just say it.
I can't. I have his jersey hanging in my room right now.
I think what we should really be focusing on here is how we could maybe use this for the good of the league, like Bryce Young being so bad, and maybe a wide receiver gets an unnecessary roughness penalty or an unsportsmanlike conduct. They have to sign a 7-day contract with the Panthers and go catch passes from him. Like, oh, hey, no 15-yard penalty. You got to go to Charlotte and catch passes.
Catch passes is generous. Catch passes is generous phrasing. Run routes.
You got to go get some cardio.
You don't even get to run
Carolina.
Routes.
So, can I offer a positive here? At least you guys didn't give up like a wide receiver one or a bunch of draft capital for this guy. I mean, that's at least a positive, right?
Yeah.
That's surely one of the worst 2 trades in NFL history already, right? Didn't set our franchise back 5 years.
What also pissed me off today, one, J.C. Horn played great in the first half, but then he goes out in the press conferences and it was taken a little bit out of context, so I watched the whole thing. But talking about, it's annoying how other fans will come in and pack the building. Put on a better product. What the hell are you talking about? No. If you are going out there and playing horribly, and you guys have won 2 games in 600 days, why should people pay hundreds of dollars to drive an hour through Charlotte traffic, pay $100 for parking, $100 for food, and go sit there and watch a crappy football team? Why should
the paper bags were out? The paper bags were out, Karter, for good reason.
Like, oh, why aren't people coming? And Dave Tepper increases season ticket prices. What are we doing here?
Anybody driving Charlotte to the game, be mindful of the expressways. They'll get you. I think what they need to do, if they want to increase attendance, they should, how you're at the beach and you have those wooden telephone poles and you'll see like signs nailed in. Usually they say like F Trump or something like that, or like pull this tab for free to work or something. They should start doing that with Panthers tickets. So like they're free tickets. You just have to go to the telephone pole and pull it off like a pull tab and you just take it to the game or maybe cookout trays. Throw them in cookout trays like a kid's meal.
Free Bojangles boxes. Yeah,
there you go.
Well, get us a sponsor, Cookout. Can I throw a conspiracy theory out there?
Always.
Jamar Chase. No, go ahead.
Conspiracy theory time. I think the Panthers are running an illegal gambling ring where they are losing these games on purpose and they are betting against themselves on offshore books in Guantanamo Bay. And that's how they are making all their money back from losing ticket prices and on the sale on buying the team. They're like, we're going to get our money back from buying this team.
I love the idea of someone committing like a vicious white collar crime, like someone that's really smart, and then he gets to Guantanamo Bay and says, "Hey, because you're in prison, you have to be a bookmaker for us. You got to set the line."
Punishment. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. It's just they're a bad team and
really bad.
It's very discouraging.
We spent too much time on it.
Really bad guys.
No, it's the worst team in NFL history.
Yes.
The one point I want to make about Bryce Young real quick before we move on.
The 0-17 Lions were worse. And the 0-17 Browns were worse.
Bryce Young's rookie growing pains phase, like it's almost expired. You can tell he's almost lost the locker room, and there hasn't been enough positive or good signs or positive plays to warrant all of his bad play. There hasn't been enough signs where I'm like, oh, he might have it. I've had like 3 or 4 of those moments in the year and a half as a Panthers with Bryce Young on the field. Like,
and I'll touch on it last, and then we'll close up for the Panthers here, and then we'll finish up here. The 2 most concerning things is He's very good against soft coverage when it's, prevent defense basically, and then you can kind of talk yourself into that. But the
they're down 20, so of course they are.
Exactly. The number one scary thing about the Bryce Young experience right now is we even saw it last year. He would be able to make these throws. He's not making those throws on the run. When he's scrambling out of the pocket, they have him in motion. Those are throws he would even make last year, and he's overthrowing them by 3 yards every single time this season through 2 weeks. That's the biggest concern. But last season, he made that throw. He would make those throws, even with the lack of separation. And then it's just confidence got rocked last season. So
just make the plays. I mean, just make the plays that are in front of you. I mean,
he should.
Guys, am I missing something?
No, he should. This season, he should. Last season, different story. It really was last season. It really was a different story. Yeah. This season, it's on him. Anyhow, we talked Raiders-Ravens. We don't need to talk about Steelers-Broncos. The Steelers
total
won.
Lowest total today, 36.5. Easiest under my life.
I love it.
Didn't watch a snap. Didn't watch a snap.
Butt cheeks. Holy smokes.
He's bad.
He will not be starting in 3 years as a quarterback in this league. He'll be out in a couple
3
years.
years?
3 years?
You're giving yourself a too good of a window, buddy.
Well, it's like a 95% confidence interval.
Will he start next year? He'll start next year.
Will he start by the end of the year?
I don't know.
I think so. If Sean Payton spends that high of a draft pick on him, they got to stick with him for a little while.
When do we start having a conversation about Sean Payton?
Ooh.
Washed.
If they lose to the Panthers in Week 8,
okay, deal.
Does he get fired on the spot?
One sad thing as a Tar Heel guy, Javonte Williams was so electric his rookie year. That knee injury ruined him. I mean, he's a shell of his former self, and it sucks to see.
Yeah, the Broncos, they're so bad. I can't believe I'm going to Broncos-Panthers in a few weeks. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. The only thing I'll touch on the Broncos, how soon does someone trade for Zach Wilson?
The Dolphins might be in need of a quarterback with Tua out.
Dolphins are going to get Tannehill. I'll call my shot there. Right. I'll call my shot there. They'll go get Tannehill if Tua ends up missing a long time.
If some of these quarterbacks get hurt, we're going to see Zach Wilson like, 7th round conditional pick. Here you go.
Sam Darnold arc.
Yeah,
maybe. Sam Darnold arc.
Imagine. Oh, my God.
Geno Smith arc.
Yeah,
Jets.
There you go.
Yeah, no. And then right now we're watching Houston Bears. That's still going on halfway through the fourth quarter right now. Caleb Williams is scrambling for his life right now. Oh, hey, he hit his rushing prop. Let's go. Anyhow, they're probably going to lose that game to the Texans. It doesn't make me feel any different about either of those teams. I think the Bears are a 7-10 team.
Yeah, they're worse.
Worse?
They're worse. They're worse.
Are they the worst? Are they the worst team in the division right now by far?
Yeah, I would say. So.
Yeah,
I would say yeah.
Okay. We're gonna do two things real quick before we go. Real quick, Eagles Falcons tomorrow night, Monday Night Football. We're recording right now, Sunday night. Eagles Falcons. Right now, Eagles are 5.5-point favorite. Game is in Philly. AJ Brown is out for this game. Dylan, can Kirk Cousins get it done on Monday Night Football and have a bounce back spot here?
High on the Falcons coming into the year. The first game against the Steelers was not reassuring. Kirk was telegraphing passes. He didn't look very comfortable, and he was really only working through one read. Not something you like to see. Add that on top of the fact that the Eagles have the extended break here. I don't want to take a side. I lean Falcons. I am going to give a prop, and I think you guys will like this one.
Bijan Robinson.
No. Tyler Algier over a half of a receiving yard. Over one half.
I kind of love that.
You can talk me into that.
The Eagles allowed 32 receiving yards per game last season to running backs. The Eagles put up the 7th worst tackling grade last week against the Packers. Last season, Algier nearly averaged 12 yards after catch per reception, forced 5 missed tackles while receiving, and has a 0% career drop rate. The opportunity just has to be there. He didn't have it last week. This Steelers defense is one of the best in the league. This Eagles defense is not. Over half a receiving yard.
I like the Falcons here.
I like that a lot.
I like the Falcons here. I think the Falcons are going to keep it close. I think they lose on a game-winning field goal. I think it's a 3-point game. They're going to cover the number, but this is going to be – Kirk Cousins is going to be fine. The Falcons are going to be fine. I think we're going to see a big game out of Bijan Robinson. Can we finally see the Bijan Robinson coming out party? It should happen against this Eagles defense. You mentioned the receiving yards to running backs. Bijan Robinson, they were getting him in action constantly on these checkdowns and screen passes last week against the Steelers, against a defense that was blitzing them like crazy. Dump it off to Bijan, let him go, yards after the catch. He's going to be able to do that all night on this Eagles defense. It's just a matter of, okay, can the Falcons get stops on the Eagles offense? I think they can without A.J. Brown. They're going to be running the ball a lot in Philadelphia. I like the Eagles to barely get it done here, 24-21.
I've been on the Philly train all year, guys. All preseason. I'm sticking with them. What is it, 5.5 right now?
Yeah.
5.5 right now. I like the Eagles tomorrow night. Nothing I saw from Kirk Cousins and this Falcons team led me to have any confidence in them. Nothing.
Which is
it
fair.
wasn't even just because they lost to the Steelers. It's how they looked while doing it. It's how Kirk Cousins looked and his lack of movement, his lack of trust in that Achilles, planning off throwing the ball. And we've touched on it, and you guys have conceded that point. I think that's my whole analysis, is that I don't trust this Falcons team. And even with A.J. Brown out, the Eagles' weapons have enough. Like, Saquon Barkley is the best back. You know, he's obviously better than the backs that the Falcons played last week. Saquon Barkley is going to have a nice game. And even with A.J. Brown out, I think Devonta Smith, his receiving yards line, 70.5. It's not enough. George Pickens had 6 for 85 on this Falcons secondary last week with Justin Fields as his quarterback. I think Devonta Smith is going to be getting the targets for sure. I like him to go over 70.5 yards if you want to prop.
I like that prop right there. I'm going.
And also,
give me
Devonta Smith.
Oh, go ahead.
Devonta Smith, his receptions line is 5.5. Is a little bit juiced. I think either one, 6 catches or 71 yards. I think either way is probably a good deal.
I like that.
So what are the official picks for this game? Connor, you have
official picks like for a prop or for the side?
any of them, anything. Your number one best pick.
Best bet, Devonta Smith over 70.5 receiving yards. I will lean Eagles minus 5.5 and probably end up taking it because I'm a degenerate gambler and there's one game on tomorrow night.
Dylan, what's your number one prop?
Tyler Algier over half receiving yard. All the reasons I listed. I also think the Falcons win this game, but I'm not going to give
the Falcons win this game outright. Are you going to take the money line?
You must trust Kirk Cousins on one leg.
That'll be a do I have a bonus or risk free, and I'll take the Falcons to win.
You're going to take the
We love
Falcons.
an honest man.
Yeah, I'm thinking Kirk Cousins to run in a first touchdown here, plus 15,000. He looks kind of rusty, man. Like, you see the practice footage come out, you're like, is he fully healthy yet?
Yeah.
Did he come back a little too soon?
Well,
It's
yes,
not even
we
just
talked
practice
about it.
footage, though.
Yeah, I mean, the game last week was pretty rough.
Yeah.
I'm going square as all get out. Just chalk me up. Bijan Robinson anytime touchdown. I'm going to run one in. It's the chalkiest play on the board. Chalk, chalk, chalk. I mean, I've got chalk dust everywhere because that is the chalkiest play on the board. I don't know. Let me look up his receiving yards really quick. I would lean towards it. 27.5 is a little high for me. But for running
Sneaky Darnell Mooney game tomorrow. How about that?
sneaky Darnold Mooney game.
Jaden Reed torched the Eagles in Brazil. Darnell Mooney kind of plays that same way. A little undersized receiver, gets the ball in the slot, a lot of bubble screens in the round maybe. Who knows? Darnell Mooney could have a nice little game.
Ray McLeod kills everybody's parlays.
You look up, it's like, Ray McLeod, 5 catches, 129 yards? It's like,
Yeah,
what?
he's the Jawan Jennings of of this game. Jawan Jennings kills everybody's Niners parlays, and then yeah. All right, yeah, I like the Falcons to keep it close. I think they cover the number, but I think Eagles barely squeak out of that one. Barely. But
I think worst decision of the night, just to close up here, betting on this Texans-Bears game is probably the worst decision I've made in a while. Just doing anything on it is probably the worst decision I made.
yeah, I looked at it. I had a couple bonus bets or whatever, play stuff. But then I was like, you know what? I kind of like the over. Then I took Caleb Williams' rush yards, which bang, but I kind of like the over, and I stayed away. From the over. I'm so proud of myself. Overs are why? Why would you take overs, Dylan? Overs are stupid.
Awful bet. No fun.
No,
No
they're
fun.
No fun. It's the worst, isn't it? Real quick, early lines next week, and we'll get out of here. Hey, if you like money, the Raiders are only 7-point favorites against the Carolina Panthers next week. What's going to be so funny about the Carolina Panthers is so many people are going to keep winning and winning and winning against the house, against Vegas. Then 1 week, they're just going to randomly win a stupid game like they did last year against the Houston Texans and kill everybody's parlay.
Or the Packers.
The Raiders are going to be in every survivor pool next week. The Raiders. They're going to be like, ooh, I can knock the Raiders out right here.
Is there any survivor pools left after these first 2 weeks? I mean,
Oh, my God.
The Ravens.
I'm sure the Ravens killed about 90% of the ones the Bengals didn't kill last week.
Yeah, that's fair. You go through it. Browns -7. Why would you ever lay that many points with the Cleveland Browns right now? Dylan, you might have a little game of the year potential here.
Okay.
Titans are a 2-point favorite against the Malik Willis Packers.
Don't like that they're a favorite being 0-2. Not a fan of that. My Super Bowl though, Chargers Steelers. Oh shoot, he made the field goal. Chargers Steelers, two teams I'm high on. It's like, what am I going to do? The Steelers played the Falcons week 1, and it's like, what am I supposed to do here? So, looking here, honestly, Commanders getting a touchdown at 7.5 against the Bengals. I kind of like that. Falcons.
I think it's going to be a big unders week next week, guys. I think it's going to be another big unders week.
I love it.
Do we take the Lions on a bounce back spot against the Cardinals next week?
What's that right now?
-3 in Arizona.
Oh my gosh. That comes down to how much stock do you put in the Lions losing today versus how real do you think the Cardinals' performance was against that Rams defense? And I lean Lions bounce back. Spot.
I know I say it like we were talking. I trashed the Lions a little bit as a Super Bowl contender. This is, if you believe in the Lions, they win this game.
Yeah.
They win this game.
I have the Cardinals as a 1.5 favorite.
Well, the Wilkerson ratings they're 2 weeks in. You can't trust the Wilkerson ratings. They're a week 5 model.
That's what they all say. Karter.
They're late bloomer.
It's a week 5 model. Let's get Dylan to bed. Tuck him in. He's tired. Let's get out of here. Subscribe to the show, YouTube, everything. Thank you so much for listening. And follow us at KarterKast on everything right there. Use code KarterKast at SeatGeek for $20 off your first purchase. At Connor_Sparrow, at Wilkerson A. Dillon, at CarterBA, at KarterKast on everything. Subscribe, rate, review. We will be back. We will be live every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. NFL previews, college football. We're live episodes every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Remember it. Subscribe. And we'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.